To do this?
Yes, Madam President, we are recording.
Okay. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer and the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Leibold,
Here.
Weiss. Weed.
Here.
Sleek. Smith,
Here.
Addie. Elder. Reese.
Here.
So we only have 4 council people tonight, so nothing will be able to be accomplished. Other than we can have the readings, but before we have the readings, Fire Chief Hallbeisen is here to speak, and so I'm gonna let him take over.
Hey, can everybody hear me okay?
Mhm.
All right, I was asked to speak by Safety Service Director Frost. I had spoken with him earlier in this week and presented a program that we've had in the past at the fire department, but we've tried to build on it and establish it a little bit better. And what that is the Fremont Fire Department's Youth Fire Setter Counseling Program. In the past, Chief Foose was involved with this program, and we also have a retired captain, John Burmeister, who was also a counselor that was certified with this program. Upon both of their retirements over the past 2 years, we were left with no one that was certified as a youth fire setter counselor. So I actually had 3 individuals that volunteered to get certified through the state of Ohio. Their names are newly promoted Lieutenant Brandon Mosier, firefighter Adam Shern, and also firefighter Jaron Wickham, who the latter of the 2 are also on tonight. If you guys would happen to have any technical questions about the program after this, they might be able to answer those for you if you have any. I'm just going to give you a gist of the program. It's designed by the State of Ohio Fire Prevention Bureau, and also our department members, following the concepts of the National Fire Protection Association 1035 Juvenile Fire Setter Intervention Specialist. Those that get certified through this program are assigned to fire and life safety education duties and other responsibilities to interview and educate youths that are involved in setting fires. There's different age groups and different things that are done in particular age groups, but the groups usually range between 4 and 7 years old, 8 and 11 years old, and then 12 through 17 are all covered under these 3 individual certifications. So essentially what they do is interview and try and educate and establish why the individual is setting the fires, and see if we can kind of mitigate their actions through education. And if that doesn't accomplish, the goals that we're looking for, then we have the avenues through this program to refer them to the proper care individual, whether it be mental health specialist or counselor or something to that effect. If it grows to be out of our scope of practice, then we have different avenues and different contacts to be able to get the parent and guardian involved in getting the child to the correct place to kind of mitigate any more future problems that this child might have. So I didn't know how many people on the council and in the city knew that we had this program. And like I said, it was kind of minimal before, and these 3 individuals coming back from their certification class have really developed it into an actual, substantial program. And hopefully we can get a good outreach to the youth in the community that have issues with setting fires, and this is just to get the word out to the parents that may have any concerns with their child. Feel free to contact us at the fire department. And we'd be happy to set you up with one of these 3 fine counselors and get you on the right path to get help for your child. So if there's any questions on this, I can try and answer them, or I can refer any other of the technical questions to the 2 individuals that are on tonight. So I'm open for any questions if there are any.
Go ahead.
I have one. Chief Hallbeisen, obviously this is a sensitive area, but we have used this program in the past. People in our community have used this program in the past. Can you give an example, obviously without naming any names or specifics of the conditions, of how this program has been recently used?
Well, for lack of saying anything more, about an hour ago, we just went on a proposed garage fire that was set by a youth. So that's definitely going to be something that what we're going to do is, once we establish that, the guardian is willing to participate, because it's just as much participation with the parents or guardians as the child, because their involvement in this is pinnacle. So what we do is, sorry about my baby crying if you hear it. What we do is try and reach out to the parents once we see that this is established, which is something that we'll probably do here within the next day or so of this instance that happened tonight, and offer up this opportunity to them to come in. And it's usually a number of different counseling sessions to where we try and establish if it's just education that's needed and guidance, or if it's something more that we need to refer them to the higher up individuals that are directed more towards mental health or mental disorders or something to that effect that is outside of our scope of practice with the certification.
Do you have a name for this group?
It is referenced, we use it through the state of Ohio. It's the Fremont Fire Department Youth Fire Setter Program. But like I said, it's a branch from the state of Ohio Youth Fire Setter Program. And then, what they do is certify individuals locally, and then we establish our own program off of what the state of Ohio does.
I hope that you.
Oh, Angie, you muted yourself right in the beginning there.
I hope that your classes or your groups are small, but do people take advantage of it, or do they get offended by it?
People take advantage of it typically because parents that bring their youth in for this they don't know where else to turn at this point. That's typically the time where we see this is when a guardian or a parent has exhausted their means of trying to determine what to do with the child, or they don't want to discipline to the point of they're getting too far into it. So it's more of an education base. So when the guardian realizes that we have that education base, that ability with the certifications and the schooling of these individuals to point them in the right direction. So that's kind of what it is. There has been participation in the past when Chief Foose and Captain Burmeister were doing it. But actually we're seeing kind of an uptick lately. And I'm not sure if it's due to COVID, being the kids being bored, experimenting, the weather getting nicer. But we had an individual in last week. There's a good chance we'll have another individual in this week after what happened tonight. And we're actually researching some of our run reports that we've looked back in the past and noticed a recurrence in certain addresses or in areas of town that maybe the same youth were involved in these occurrences. So then we'll outreach to those parents or guardians that were involved in the past that maybe we didn't offer it up to them in the past because it wasn't available after Chief Foose retired. So there was like a 6-month span in there where we didn't really have, or, you know, a few months span in there where we didn't have anybody to do it. And we had to refer everyone up to St. Vincent's because they have a program up there with their burn unit. So we're trying to take anybody over locally first instead of passing them along.
How long has this program been in existence?
The program itself with the city of Fremont, like I said, we had 2 individuals in the past that were certified. As far as how long they were certified, I am not sure. I've been there 18 years and I can only really recall maybe a handful of kids coming in. And how it is done is it's all private. Any of the conversation that takes place within the counseling sessions is completely private. All the files are held under lock and key. The only thing that is passed along is any information that is signed off from the guardian that would be passed along to then a counselor or somebody above our scope if there's an imminent hazard to the youth or anybody in the immediate area of the youth. If we determine that something needs to happen immediately due to what they've done or the actions that they've done, then we can get a release form from the guardian and pass that information along. Otherwise, everything's private and kept safeguarded.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? No? Well, thank you so
I'd like
much.
to-
Go ahead,
I
Justin.
just would like to thank Chief Horbison. It sounds like an excellent program, and I think hopefully it makes a difference in some of the issues you're dealing with.
Thank you for coming and sharing your
Absolutely.
program with us. Now, the family of Scott Seymour is here to speak, and so I'd like to give them the opportunity.
First of all, I want to make sure, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. So thank you for listening to us today. We are the friends and family of Scott Seymour. And we are proposing to name the park at the corner of Hayes and Park Avenue after the Seymour family. The Seymour family has a long legacy of promoting activity in the local running and bicycling communities. Bob Seymour owned a running store in the 1970s, which was instrumental in planning and organizing Fremont running events, including our Camelback, which is still an important yearly event in Fremont. Bob and his wife, Y. Young, ran marathons and participated in races around the world. His wife, Y. Young, who despite starting running in her 50s, is a local legend for her world records in marathon, 5Ks, and 10K races. Lastly, in addition, they passed on this love of running to their children and grandchildren who participated in Fremont Ross cross country and swim teams. His wife, and lastly, Scott Seymour, his son, died this past winter while walking at Rivercliff Park. Scott was an avid naturalist and bicyclist. He worked for the Fremont Water Pollution Center for over 29 years. Most days he could be found bicycling the bike trail, walking Fremont parks, or swimming at local pond, quarries, or pools. And most days he was at all of those things. In addition, Scott volunteered his time to repair used bikes for the children of Fremont. We feel that the park at the corner of Hayes and Park Avenue would be a tribute to the Seymour family legacy. We have engaged the help of a commercial landscape architect to help with some planning. We envision using native plants and trees to help to have maximal impact on plant diversity, insect diversity, and birds. The cost of the plants and trees would be covered by the Seymour Park Committee, and we would hope be maintained by the City Parks Department. We would like, if our proposal is approved, we would provide a plan for plantings and landscaping. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Madam President, I'd
Yes,
like
sir.
to thank this committee for putting together a lot of effort. This is what we want to see in Fremont, is people coming together to try to accomplish something. I'm fully in support of doing this, and I intend to work with the administration to make this a reality in the next few weeks. And I hope that the other council members will join me in this and in supporting this measure, because Mr. Seymour did do a lot for running and sports, and he was a City of Fremont employee. So I am full-pledged in support of this, and we'll be working to make this happen in the next few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have something.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what your name is, but I'll call you.
Oh, I apologize. I'm Mary Bauer. I'm a local family physician, been here 30 years.
Okay, Mary, you mentioned something, and I'm not opposed to this. I'm not opposed to it. I do happen to remember seeing Mr. and Mrs. Seymour walking, jogging, or running. I don't remember them on a bicycle, but I remember them on their feet. Anyhow, you mentioned something about that you would be willing to help with the landscaping of the park.
Yes.
I think that's very important, to take interest in it and help maintain it, because we've got a lot of parks, and being a member of the Beautification Commission, we try and help out where we can, but there's few of us and lots of parks and lots of work. So we take care of some things, and I think that would be really good if you could share in caring for it, because I think you're probably going to be living closer to it.
And I liked how you noticed how hot that corner is. That corner, as you come off the bike trail, is so hot, and we need big trees there. And I know that takes time, but we feel like that corner could be improved.
Just added, Mary lives almost directly across the street, and I live right next door to her. I'm Scott Seymour's son, so we live really right next to it also.
Okay, I will make a suggestion to the Beautification Commission to have a tree planted there, so we can have some shade in the future.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Dr. Bauer and the Seymour family. I know once this is accomplished, since you live right there, you'll take extra care of it, and I think it's a fitting memorial. What hasn't been said yet is Mr. Frost emailed us all the code section here, and I want to thank you guys for your letter that clearly meets the qualifications for naming of a park. And I just want to make sure the public's aware, since we haven't mentioned this, that because you followed it, there is a selection panel procedure, and that's the chair of the Rec Committee on Council, the chair of the Citizen Service Committee, so that's Councilman Smith and Councilman Reese, and then it's the president and vice president of the Parks and Rec Advisory Commission. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure who they are, and then it's Safety Service Director Ken Frost. So it's my recommendation to the 5 or so of you that you accept this application, and we name this park. And that's all, Madam President.
Thank you. Do you have that application, Seymour family?
No.
No.
I think the letter serves as the application.
Oh, the letter does serve as the application?
Yeah, it seems to be what the ordinance does.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'd like to announce that my plan is to go back to in-person council meetings starting in June. The first one being in June 3rd. And that is if things continue to, the COVID cases continue to drop and we don't have any big wide spread. I'd like to ask that if you haven't been vaccinated, that you wear a mask. If you have been vaccinated, I mean, that's what the CDC is saying. And so I'm trying to follow that guideline. So now we're gonna move on with our council meeting, and council's has a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? No, then they'll stand as they are. Council also has a copy of tonight's agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? Yes?
The last resolution that we got yesterday, I think it should be added on. Do we have somebody that's adding it on?
I don't know, Stevie, but I'll make that motion to add, I noticed that as well. Let me find the resolution number.
Doesn't have a number.
It's not on the one I sent you. She just added it yesterday, Wednesday at 2 something.
Yes, I saw that. I didn't recall seeing it on the,
It's-
okay.
It's the one RES 618.
No, it's the
No.
first reading of a resolution authorizing the mayor to file an application for submission to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, ODNR, for the State of Ohio Natural Works Grant Program and declaring an emergency.
Okay, Madam President, I move that that resolution get added to tonight's agenda.
And I second that motion.
Okay. Do I need to do a roll call on this? I think so. Roll call.
Weiss,
Yes.
Fleet, oh, sorry, Smith,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes,
Leibold.
Yes.
Okay, it's added. So are you gonna put this at the beginning, Stevie, or are you gonna put it at the end? At the end? Okay. Okay, if you want to go ahead and start the readings, that'll be fine.
Okay. Second reading of an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Fremont, Ohio, and to amend or enact sections of the general offenses code to conform to enactments with the General Assembly.
And that constitutes the second reading.
Second reading of an ordinance amending chapter 941 Parks and Playground Code section 941.03D, rules and regulations of parks and playgrounds of the codified ordinances of the city of Fremont and declaring an emergency.
That constitutes the second reading of that.
Second reading of a resolution authorizing the approval and issuance of a warrant for payment of $12,409.00 to the public entities, pools of Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
That constitutes the second reading of that.
Second reading of an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of not to exceed $1,085,000 of notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying a portion of the cost of improvements to Garrison Street from Washington Street to South Front Street, including widening, pavement replacement, replacing curbs, catch basins, and water lines as designated in the plans approved or to be approved by council, and declaring an emergency.
And that constitutes the second reading of that ordinance.
Second reading of a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a revolving loan fund agreement with Lee Ann Gibson, DBA LBC Salon LLC, and declaring an emergency.
And that constitutes the second reading of that resolution.
First reading of a resolution authorizing the mayor to file an application for submission to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, ODNR, for the State of Ohio Nature Works Grant Program and declaring an emergency.
That's constitutes as the first reading of that. So I'm gonna go ahead. Somebody want to speak?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. My understanding is that that grant application has a deadline of maybe June 2nd, which is before our next council meeting. So I'm going to suggest that we call a special meeting either for that one alone or for the whole agenda. I can't remember how we normally do this. As far as I can tell, we just have to provide 24 hours notice to the news media.
Right.
And since most of these are third readings, that's why I'm suggesting maybe we just do the whole agenda, or we can just do that one as a single item on the agenda. And I'm just gonna throw this out there, maybe Tuesday at noon, and we can, because we'll still be under the emergency, the state of emergency, so we can be available by phone if necessary. And I'm hoping that the lunchtime will be the most availability, but otherwise I'm open to other times.
Go ahead, Justin.
Mr. Liable available. I'm available at 12 o'clock noon. I would not be able to noon meeting,
You wouldn't? Okay.
but I could do 3 p.m.
Well, we just do a 5 o'clock or a 5:30.
I'm pretty sure that would work for me too. So
That would work for me.
That would work for me.
I think it would be better because I know that Mr. Sleek works, with the school system and everything, so he wouldn't make it for noon.
well, that my thought was him and Councilman Elder are in the school system, so we'll have a lunchtime. I just said
Okay.
noon. It could be 11:30,
Mhm.
but I think 5 o'clock would work.
Varies.
Yes,
Right.
Stevie?
It probably would be better afterwards because I work at the high school. John Elder wouldn't have a lunchtime at 12.
At 12. Okay,
He couldn't get away at that time.
that's fine.
Okay, well, we'll see. Go ahead, Bob.
Are we talking about the whole agenda or just items on the agenda?
We might as well do the whole agenda, don't you think?
Well, that was my thought, but if you didn't want to do the whole agenda, I would definitely ask for number 5 because we are holding up this lady's.
That was my thought too, Bob.
Right, right.
But most of those we can pass with just 4. And
Yeah.
at least the last one, if we didn't have 6, we could get a second reading. We could schedule another special meeting and pass that. But no, the 5 o'clock, if that's good for other people, maybe Councilman Elder's still at track practice, but he could probably be available by phone.
Well, let's see if we can tomorrow or tonight, I can send out, no, I have to do it tomorrow. I can send out an email and see if this is gonna work for everybody.
Is that 5 o'clock on Tuesday?
Yes,
I think 5 p.m. is good with myself, Mr. Week, Mr. Elder, all working in the schools. It would be easier for us to 5 o'clock.
Sleek, Elder, and Adi. Okay. So moving forward, I'm gonna ask everybody if they want to speak. I'm gonna start with Christine Weiss.
I don't really have too much this evening. I guess funny little story though, just about good citizens of Fremont. My dog accidentally got let out and was roaming around, and a couple of good people in the town found him, and so I was very thankful for that for good citizens. So proud of Fremont. So that's all I have this evening.
You, Angie.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to take the time to thank Chief Hallbeisen for being here tonight and explaining about that program, which I never knew existed, never even gave it a thought. I'd also like to comment on the tree. I would like to see if whoever's in charge of that would contact me so I can have a discussion on that and invite them to our meeting of the Beautification Commission so we could all get together and talk about that. So if they would contact me at 419-334-1944. And if they forget that number, just call the city and they'll tell them where they can reach me. The weather's very nice. Everybody just be careful with your driving and have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin Smith.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to thank Chief Hallbeisen and the Seymour family for their presentations. I'd like to encourage everybody to drive safer as school lets out and summer vacation begins, to be looking out for youth in the community, and look forward to seeing everybody in-person council meeting, and exciting to start getting normal churches. Then you got to church, things are finally looking like it's a great for our community to come together and enjoy the sense of I've been waiting for so long. Thank you.
Thank you. Stevie?
Nothing tonight, ma'am.
Okay. Bob Gross?
Just brief update, first week of June, Chipotle, if you drove by there today, there were a bunch of cars out there, they're training. The exact date is June 2nd for the grand opening, providing the workforce and is taken care of, but June 2nd. And then obviously you see Dunkin' Donuts and that's kind of there's always something going on, just the timing of when we're ready to discuss it or announce it. I'm always trying to be sensitive to the private sector business owners and their timeframes. But that's it, Madam President. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Chris Leibold?
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to, I guess, do a shout out to Crown Battery. This might have been mentioned last meeting when I was at a track meet, but I noticed around Earth Day, they announced that they were going to be powering everything by clean energy out there. And I think that's remarkable and something we should be proud of. And I mean, Fremont, California has Tesla. And on the other side here in Fremont, Ohio, we got, Crown Battery powering a clean energy future as well. So I just think that's really neat. And I want to congratulate them on doing that.
Thank you. Ken Frost?
Thank you, Madam President. Just like to say thank you to Chief Hallbys and his crew. I think you guys are doing a great job over there. Appreciate all you're doing. I have one thing for council, for all the council members, just so you're aware, on Rawson Avenue, the landscaping in a newly implemented boulevard that we have up there is kind of overgrown. Quite frankly, it's looking a little shabby. I had a conversation with the landscape contractor that's responsible for that landscaping for 1 year from the time of planning today, and they will be out early next week, Monday or Tuesday, if not both days, to get that landscaping back in shape so it's not such an eyesore. So if you're asked by members of the community, we are on top of it, and next week it should be straightened around. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul Hallbys, did you want to add anything?
No, thank you. I appreciate everybody giving us the opportunity to present tonight, and hopefully any citizens in Fremont that want to take advantage of the program, contact us at the fire department.
Thank you. Jaron Wickham, did you want to speak?
No, ma'am. Just thank you guys for listening to our presentation, and we're hoping to bring a change a little bit to the community and hopefully provide better fire protection.
Thank you. Where'd the little girl go on Sheernack 17? I thought maybe she might want to speak.
She'd probably talk your ear off, but she's getting ready for bed.
I'd like that. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, I just appreciate you guys' time tonight. We look forward to making an impact with this program with us, and we appreciate the support that we've gotten from you guys tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Seymour family, if you're still there, did you want to say anything? Evidently they're not. Shari Mullen.
Good evening, Madam President. I have a few things that I would like to share. I'm going to share a couple events that we are doing through the city of Fremont. They're currently listed now on the diversity and inclusion page. The first event I'm very excited about is the City of Fremont's Courageous Conversations, the 7 Pillars of Inclusion. This program is sponsored by State Farm. The pillars include access, attitude, choices, partnerships, communication, policy, and opportunities. The discussions will happen during the farmers market. We will discuss each pillar, which will lead into an in-service day, a professional in-service day at Terre Community College in October. I will also send you all an email with the flyer and the concrete details so that you have it. I invite you all to come down if you have time during the farmers market to have that informal discussion with the community, or if you would like to participate in the planning of the in-service day. Another event that we're excited about is Chief Bliss and Cody Bishkoff and myself have planned a 2021 community cookout. We will be at 4 different parks this summer, engaging with our youth. We have a lot of events planned. Chief is going to be cooking hamburgers and hot dogs. We kind of call them blissful burgers and brats. That information is posted on the website as well, and we will announce it on Facebook and our other social media outlets beginning next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Seymour family, did you want to speak?
Yeah. I'm sorry. We have kind of dispersed. Can you just fill me in real quick? What did you need from Seymour family?
Nothing. At the end of the meetings, I just let people comment if they want to make a comment. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, really, we just wanted to comment about the park. My husband, Eli, he's Scott's son. Did you want to?
Yeah, I just want to say, we really appreciate you guys and everybody looking into it and stuff, and the support you guys have given us on all this stuff. Danny's been, very involved in everything. John Elder was my cross-country coach. So we appreciate you guys, asking the questions and being involved in all this stuff.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, and hopefully we end up with a really nice park here coming up soon. So,
Madam President.
Yes.
I want to talk to Mr. Seymour here.
Mr. Seymour.
Yes.
I would like to invite you to our next beautification meeting, which is June the 2nd at 6 o'clock at the rec center. So we can discuss the landscaping on that park and I'm sure that Steve Stotz, our park supervisor, he will be there, and then we can also discuss about a tree or trees.
Yeah, and I believe Dr. Mary Bauer's sister does golf course landscaping type thing for a living. I believe that's who she was talking to about it. So it is definitely a professional that's going to help us look into this process and everything. So a lot of good people getting involved to help this out.
If you just send just one person or 2 or 3, it doesn't matter, but just send at least one person.
Okay, and what was the date and time on that? We're writing it down right now?
June 2nd at 6 o'clock at the rec center. There's a meeting room over at the rec center there. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll probably be just me and my mom, or just my mom, me, and Mary, if we can get all 3, because it should be pretty easy. But yes, we appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further, yes, Ken.
I apologize. I'm not sure. Did we have a Utilities and Traffic Committee meeting scheduled for next Thursday, the 27th?
Not that I'm aware of. Isn't Utilities and Traffic Denny?
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if last meeting he had asked for one.
Well, let's look at the minutes from the last meeting.
I don't have that in the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that he stated that the Clyde FFA will help with the landscaping of the cemetery. But other than that, there's nothing. We can check on that though.
Okay, if possible, if we get with Mr. Oddie, whoever the vice chair is, like to schedule that in for next Thursday at 6 o'clock, the 27th.
27th is 6 o'clock. Is it going to be Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
If you guys don't mind, can I ask one other question while I'm on here really quick?
Absolutely.
Are you guys going back to open meetings again coming up? It
Yes.
sounded like that was
In
happening.
June.
Okay. So I'm on the board with the VFW, and I know Craig Swartz likes to come down to it, and we're looking at a couple different projects, I guess, down there that to be approved and stuff too. So I just want to make sure we knew that so I could bring it up in a meeting.
Okay.
That we could, start bringing some of those things back into the community too.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much.
If there's no other business, you got something, Bob?
Yeah, just real quick, I think we have to state the purpose of the Utilities and Traffic Committee meeting when we make the announcement. And that's for our city engineer to discuss the roads program.
City engineer to discuss the roads program?
But yeah, the roads program, the condition of the roads.
Okay.
And so that's the only thing I wanted to jump in there and let people know the purpose of the meeting.
Okay. Anyone else?
Madam President, I move to adjourn.
All right.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Smith,
Did you say Smith?
Yeah.
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Leibowitz,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Night.